Hello students, in the last session we have studied selection statements in Java. In today's session we will study iteration statements in Java. So let's start. Iteration statements. So Java's iteration statements are for, while and do while. Now, these iteration statements are used to repeat some set of instructions specified number of times, and it is also called as loops. Whenever we want to execute some set of instructions or statements for some specified number of times, we can use loops for that particular purpose. So let's study these different iteration statements in Java one by one, starting with the while loop. While loop repeats a group of statements as long as the condition is true. While loop is called as entry controlled loop. Now the loops have been categorized as entry controlled and exit controlled loops. Entry controlled loop is a loop where condition is checked first, and then if the condition is true, then the instructions are or statements are executed. So while loop is an entry controlled loop. So let us look at the syntax of while loop. The syntax is the keyword while, in round bracket we have condition. Now this condition evaluates to a value that is either true or false. So if the value of this condition is true, or if the condition is true, the statements enclosed in flower bracket open and flower bracket close are executed. And if the condition is false, it will simply come out of this loop and execute the statements declared after the loop. Okay, let us look at one example program. So this program generates numbers from 1 to 20. So we have a class natural, and in that class we have declared public static void main. This is our main function. Inside the main function, first we have declared a variable I which is equals to 1. So this is a counter variable. So every loop should have a counter variable, a condition, and increment or decrement part. So this is the counter variable I which is assigned a value 1. Then we have a loop here while I is less than or equals to 20. As we have assigned value 1 to I, initially this condition is true because 1 is less than or equals to 20. And if this is true, we have some set of statements enclosed in flower bracket open and flower bracket close. So the statement included here, it is system.out.print. We are printing the value of variable I. So initial value of variable I, it is 1. So it will print 1, and we have concatenated that with /t. That means it will give us some space after printing the value. Then we have a next statement, that is we are incrementing the counter variable by 1. So I plus plus, initially it was 1, here it will be incremented by 1, so that will become 2. And then we have a closing bracket of while loop. So from this particular point, again it goes to the while. So again it repeats from here, again it checks the condition I is less than or equals to 20. I initially it was 1, then we have incremented it here at this point. So the current value of I, it is 2. 2 is less than or equals to 20, still the condition is true. 2 is less than 20. So again it will print the value of I, that it will print 2. Like this particular loop is executed for 20 times, and when the value of I will become 21, value of I when it becomes 21, then the condition becomes false. So 21 is not less than or equals to 20, and at that point when this is false, when the condition is false, it will simply come out of the loop and goes to the statement after the while loop. So if you have any other statement after the while loop, those statements are executed. So this is how we can declare and use while loop in Java. And as I have said, it is entry controlled loop because the condition, if you look at here, condition is checked first, then the statements are executed. If the condition is false at the beginning itself, no statements are executed. Okay, this is about the while loop. The next type of loop, it is do while loop. Again, do while loop, it is also used to repeat some set of statements as long as the condition is true. But this is an exit controlled loop. Unlike the while loop, do while loop, it is exit controlled loop, meaning the condition is not checked at the beginning, but condition is checked at the end of the loop. Look at the syntax here. Do while loop have a syntax. We have a keyword do, then we have a flower bracket open and some set of statements and flower bracket close, and at the closing of the flower bracket we have to declare the while and condition. So we have do, while, and the condition. So this condition should evaluate to either true or false, and the statements are executed until this condition is true. When the condition becomes false, the loop terminates. If you look at the do while loop, condition is checked at the end, and that is the reason these statements included in do while loop are executed at least for one number of time, even though the condition is false. Now look at one example based on the do while loop. The similar program which prints numbers from 1 to 20. We have class natural, then public static void main, then we have declared again a variable I is equals to 1, then we have do. Inside the flower bracket we have statement system.out.println value of I. Initial value it is 1, so it will print 1 here, and then we are incrementing the value, that is I plus plus, so this will become 2, I will become 2 here, and then we are checking while 2 is less than or equals to 20, the condition is true because 2 is less than 20. When the condition is true, again it continues with the do statement. So again it comes here, again it executes system.out.print, and it prints the value of I, that is 2. So initially it will print 1, then it will print 2, then again I is incremented here, so that will become 3, and we are checking again 3 is less than or equals to 20. Yes, still it is true. Again it goes back, again it prints the value of I, that is 3, and this will continue till the value of I is 20, and when value of I will become 21, so this condition will become false. So 21 is less than or equals to 20, the condition will become false, and when the condition is false, it will simply come out of the loop and it will go to the code which is included after the do while loop. Now as I have told you about do while loop, suppose initially if I declare I is equals to 21, the initial condition is I is equals to 21, consider, and then in that case it will go to do, it will execute, it will print I, that is it will print 21, and then I is incremented, I will become 22, and then we are checking while 22 is less than or equals to 20, the condition is false. 22 is not less than or equals to 20, it is greater than 20, so condition is false. Looking at the value of I, you will get to know that the initial value of I itself is greater than 20. So even though the condition is false or condition will not satisfy initially, the statements are at least executed once in do while loop because the condition is checked at the end. So this is about do while loop in Java. Okay, the next type of loop is for loop. The for loop is again similar to do while or while loop, but for loop is more compact synthetically than the other two types of loops. Now even this is used to execute some group of statements as long as the condition is true. The syntax of for loop is for expression 1, then we have a semicolon in between, this is important, we have a semicolon, then we have expression 2, and again there is a semicolon, and at the end expression 3 and round bracket is closed, and then we have body of for loop, that is flower bracket open and flower bracket closed, and inside this we can have any number of statements. Now in the syntax expression 1, it is the initialization of counter variable, and in case of expression 2, the condition is checked in the expression 2, and expression 3 includes the statements which are used to increment or decrement the value of counter variable. As I've said, there are three important things which are required in every loop, that is the counter variable initialization, then the condition, and increment and decrement. In case of for loop, all the three things have been included in a single statement. So we have expression 1 semicolon expression 2 semicolon expression 3. Now look at this similar example now by using a for loop. So generate numbers from 1 to 20 again. So look at this example, class natural. Inside the main, what we have is we have declared I here, then we have for I is equals to 1, so we are initializing the counter variable I with a value 1 here, then we have a semicolon, then the condition here. So condition is I is less than or equals to 20. Now what is the initial value of I? It is 1, so 1 is less than or equals to 20. Yes, the condition is true, and then last block it is increment or decrement. One important thing to remember about for loop is increment and decrement section of the for loop is executed at the end of a loop. Means initially when we execute the for loop, I is assigned to 1, then it will check the condition I is less than or equals to 20. If the condition is true, if it is true, in this case it is true, the statements which have been included in the for, the statement is only one statement, system.out.print is executed. Means it will print the value of I, that is 1. And after executing the statements, when again it comes back to the for, at this point of time it first increments the counter variable. So at this particular time it increments the counter variable. Counter variable initially it was 1, now it will become as 2 because I plus plus increments value by 1, so it is 2. Then it again checks the condition, 2 is less than or equals to 20, condition still holds, it is true. If it is true, again system.out.print print the value of I. So value of I, now it is 2, so it will print 2. Again it goes back. Again when it goes back, first increment I plus plus, now the value is 3. Again check, 3 is less than or equals to 20, yes it is true, again print it. Like this loop will execute till the value of I is less than or equals to 20. When I will become 21, this condition will become false. I is less than or equals to 20 becomes false, and when it becomes false, it will come out of the loop and the statements after the for loop are executed. So this is how the for loop can be defined and used in Java. One more important thing to note here is that we do not have a flower bracket open and flower bracket close for the for loop. So we do not have a flower bracket over here and flower bracket closing over here. So that is not necessary, because whenever you have a single statement in a block, if you look at here for loop, we have only one statement. Whenever you have a single statement inside a block, there is no need to declare a flower bracket. Even if you declare a flower bracket, doesn't matter. But if you have only one statement, the flower brackets are not necessary. Okay, this is about iteration statements in Java. So we will stop here today. Thank you.